Just to begin with, I just had a cold, so my voice is a little bit scuffed at the moment. But hi, and welcome to my pretty terrible Flamewood Chieftain guide. So what I've done is basically a big warning for everyone. To begin with, this build is extremely clunky to play, because you have to place the totem will taunt, bring the nearby enemies sometimes in, the enemies have to hit the totem to deal damage. And you can't do all content. Cannot do all content. I repeat, can't. Because bosses such as Eat of Worlds, Squidward, whatever you want to call them, his auto attacks doesn't count as him attacking. Thus, this Flamewood support won't actually trigger. This league mechanic, it's also awful. Since a couple patches ago, you removed enemies now ignore taunts, so the totems barely do anything. And of course, bosses don't target totems. You literally have to face tank an AoE attack, so the AoE attack hits the totem as well, and you. So the totem can trigger the Flamewood support. All I wanted out of this build was to scale the totem life to ridiculous levels and also try out the new reworked Chieftain. And for some reason, this has been more successful than my other builds this league, such as my big AoE Cyclone Slayer, my Concoction build. It's been awful. But once you start investing into this build, you will easily see around 10 million Ignite DPS with Vaal Ancestral Warchief. I will get to that very soon. Why we're using Vaal Ancestral Warchief. And the pro lift is clears the screen. It's beautiful. So what is Flamewood support? It's the new support gem that supports totems in general. That was added in this league, the Trial of the Ancestors. This support gem triggers when enemies hit the totems, specifically only enemies. Self-damage, such as Hiltless or that amulet, which I can't remember the name of, that makes it take fire damage whenever it ignites, doesn't work. When an enemy hits this totem, it launches a projectile up in the air, a slow projectile, which then falls down on the enemy that hit the totem. As I just mentioned, it's a slow projectile, which means if a ranged enemy hits the totem and then starts walking away, the projectile will most likely miss. And on top of this skill also has 1 second cooldown, making it pretty bad for hit builds. So this is why I'm doing this with Ignite. Because the damage is based off the totem's maximum life. In this case, my Vaal Ancestral Warchief has 167,000 maximum life. And it's 143% of the totem's maximum life, because I have a level 22 support gem. And my Ancestral Warchief only has almost 27,000 life, which is good enough to clear. The gear itself is super easy to craft. I mean, I bought this base with the fractured maximum damage over time multiplier. Alteration spam until +2 socketed melee gems. Regold prayed for a suffix, any suffix roll. Counter roll attack modifiers, Exalt for guaranteed +1 socketed gems. Prefixes cannot be changed. Scour, and multi-mod the rest, the Fire Dot Multi and Fire Ignite chance. But due to Chieftain's new passive skills, you really want to stack fire resistance. So, cold and lightning resistances are based on your fire resistance at 50% of the value. So if I just get, in my case, 400% fire resistance, I will get about 200 cold and lightning as well. It's only 100, I will show you why very soon. The second one is maximum fire resistances also apply to maximum cold lightning, so which makes this build perfect with Purity Fire, which will give you even more fire resistance and +5 in this case to maximum fire resistance. This totem is also based on this node here, which taunts all nearby enemies around them for 4 seconds. This is kind of scuffed, but it works. And this totem just won't die. No matter what shit is thrown at it, it won't die because it has so much maximum life. It regenerates based on our region, it recoups damage taken, even Reflect can't kill the totem, it's that dumb. And then we have this. Whenever you stand still, all nearby enemies have negative 20% to the fire resistance against damage over time, which is the ignite part. I kinda want to try out the chance to explode, but it's enemies you kill. I don't know if ignite counts as me killing, so theory crafting. The rest of my gear is based on just getting a fractured fire resistance, and then spamming essences or for chaos resistance, or the what's called harvest crafting station with chaos. What's this? Chaos. There it is. Just re-roll that until you get high life, high chaos resistance, and preferably open prefixes, such as in this case. I've got a tier 1 life, I've got tier 3 chaos resistance. I could have been rolled better, but AoE is what we really want, because this projectile lands and deals AoE damage. You want bigger area effect for it to also spread even more. This build also doesn't work unless you have 100% ignite chance and some kind of proliferation. You can use ignite proliferation for another 25% ignite chance, which I would recommend when leveling without doubt. But once you have 100%, you can always change the Fire Prolif gem to like Unbound Ailments, or Combustion is also a choice if you want. Doesn't really matter, I just enjoy longer ignites in general, hence why I have the Unbound Ailments. The Sacrificial Garb implicit grants you +1 to all level of Val skills, and considering as a Warchief, when Val is a Val skill, it's another +1. I get +3 because it's a melee skill as well from this Socketed Gem plus melee gems. I get +3 from this new unique Replica Dragonflights, fairly cheap as well. And also a level 4 Empower, which turns into a level 5 in this because it's +1 to Socketed Gems. Which turns it into level 30. This Formless Flame, as I said earlier, since you're stacking fire resistance, you get regeneration from the Fire Mastery. In this case, regenerate 1 life per second for each 1% under-capped fire resistance. You get life regen based of resistances that are above the cap. In this case, I have 400 life regeneration. I believe that's the case. Can I see any regeneration somewhere? Yeah, I have over 1000 life a second because I'm also using Vitality. And then I also get, as I said, all resistance. I get life regeneration. I get armor from the Formless Flame. It's a good stat. And as long as you get attributes from your gear, like, do I have attributes here somewhere? Dexterity on my ring, some strength on my chest. Then you can tattoo all of your strength nodes to the tattoo of the Engamahu Woodcarver, which increases totem life by 6%. The rest of the nodes I recommend just getting things that fills out the rest of your chaos resistances. In this case, I have a couple of these. A cluster jewel, nothing spectacular. I just had 8 socket fire resistance. I've recently just bought this for a little bit more damage. Get Ancestral Might once, because longer totem duration, more totem damage if you just leave them alone, and more placement speed and range. It's quality of life. But specifically, Ancestral Might just gives you more damage because it scales to life as well. And that's about it. Oh yeah, forgot about this. This strength node up here grants +1 to all level of strength skills as well, which is perfect for auras because I'm running Determination that gives it +1 there. I'll use Vitality, that's another +1, and Purity of Fire, which is another +1. I could get myself a 21, level 21 Purity of Fire for even more defenses. I also use a Defiance Banner. In this case, it's an anomalous one. You don't need anomalous. I just find one was doing heist, so that's why I have it. Cost of damage taken, Molten Shell for more survivability. Preferably like level 12, 16, so it triggers more often. Because you are fairly tanky, so a level 20 cost of damage taken with a 20 Molten Shell won't really do that much. Since we can't really use flammability, because our node here says their resistance is -20, then you can't alterate it unless you're moving around, making this node useless if that's the case. Then I would just use another curse instead, in this case Punishment. So it takes 60% increased damage when low life. You have such high damage in general. I mean, my build is currently sitting at about 15.5 million Ignite DPS with the Val version, and about 1 point something million with the normal Ancestral Warchief. Just put that shit together with increased duration and life tap. Once you get high levels enough, I recommend getting Call to Arms and Enduring Cry, so you can get some source of endurance charges just to become a little bit tankier. The rest of my points, considering I'm level 95, I'm probably gonna put into this node here. 10% of armor also applies to chaos damage taken from hits, because I only have 75 chaos resistance, and almost 50k armor. With flasks up, yeah, it's almost 80,000. So that's another 8,000 armor that applies to chaos damage taken, which is gonna save it quite a lot while semi-life. So if you want a clunky build that is fairly cheap to get going, then this is a build, yeah. Oh yeah, I'm also using Tempered by War. Only reason is because I want to ignore cold and lightning penetration somewhat. I don't know why. You can also use the Traitor Keystone instead. So you can get flask charges, and then you can use that flask that grants you Val souls, so you can use the Val Ancestor Warchief more often if you don't want to use these flasks. So you don't really need Tempered by War. I just enjoy it. Because also the Formless Flame take -152 fire damage, less damage taken from hits, fire damage specifically. Making me even more tanky. I only need 1/6 link, the weapon. Body armor, don't really need anything. It's just leap slam, momentum, fast attacks, life tap. Just to jump around a little bit faster. Haven't even qualityed this up yet. Probably should for more attack speed. Yeah, that's the build. Thank you for watching. This build is clunky, but once you invest into it, it's kind of fun. It's solid for the expedition with new keystone, because you plunk it down and the totem's down and you just run around and the expedition will just delete itself. I might just give it a showcase after I'm done talking. So yeah, thank you for watching.